What would you do to accomplish a goal you never thought possible? Would you pursue it or give up because it seems so far out of reach? That is a question I had to ask myself when presented with a powerful decision. Do I continue on a path of monetary gain with no meaning, or do I go the distance and pursue my passion? This is a story about how I got to be at this crossroads, the choices I made, and where those choices led me. From corporate law to education, a journey that took me across the world and back. This is my story. Have you ever wondered what life is like in corporate law? In a corporate law firm? Let me make it brief. It's pretty boring. Write a contract, someone gets rich, draft some documents, form a corporation. It's not as interesting as they make it seem on TV. I was practicing corporate law as a corporate paralegal, doing the same thing day after day. I had a desk, a computer, a suit, a tie. I also had no life. Take-home work that lasted through the weekend, plus extra assignments, get the picture. It really wasn't fun. This is not what you would call a satisfying career. But hey, it paid well. That seemed like it was all that mattered until one day when everything changed. So that's when something interesting happened. Bad economy, boring job. You know what comes next. I got laid off. Me and about half the American population. Well, not half, but a lot. So this actually wasn't so bad. You see, the weather was just getting really nice, the kind of days where the sun's out, not so hot, not too cold, a cool breeze at your back, flowers blooming, all that jazz. So, those were the kinds of days, and now I could actually enjoy them. Did I mention I had a convertible? Well, I did. And you couldn't ask for a better car for the weather. A 97 Chrysler Sebring. Stuff of legends for a 23-year-old kid like me. So all this riding around in my convertible was fun, but I realized I couldn't just enjoy the beautiful weather forever. I needed to decide what I was going to do for a job. Should I go back and work in law again, or do something else? Personally, I couldn't stand law anymore. And I couldn't stand it any more than I can stand on slick ice at a 45-degree angle. So I decided I needed to figure out what I was going to do with myself. You see, I always thought I'd grow up, be a lawyer, live somewhere nice, and live happily ever after. The thing I didn't count on was law being just about the boringest profession you could ever dream of. So I was really at a crossroads, law or something with meaning. Before I could really think about what to do with my life, I was approached by a student group about a trip to Israel for just $100. I could go to Israel for 2 weeks. Everything paid for. The catch, there was some studying involved. Once I got there, I thought, hey, why not? A free vacation and some time to think. So off I went, halfway across the world to a foreign land. So the first thing you have to know about Israel is, it's not a very religious country. When you think of Israel, most people think of Judaism, people dressed from head to toe. It ends up that it's really only true in Jerusalem and only in the Old City. And it just so happens this is exactly the part of Israel that would become my new home. See, I originally thought I was going to be staying here for 2 weeks, but after 2 weeks I was having such a good time that I decided to stay for a while longer. To make a long story short, 2 weeks turned into 2 months, and a lot of these questions I was having were going to start being answered for me. While in the Old City, I met some smart people. Now when I say smart, I'm not talking straight A smart or Einstein smart. I'm talking the kind of smart you find when you're not looking for it. The old guy sitting on a park bench with something meaningful to say. Well, that's just the kind of smart I found in the Old City. Without even looking for it, it seemed like I ran into people like this every day. Everyone had an ounce of truth and a lesson to share. With every new person I met, I told them my situation and asked for their advice. And you know what they all had to say? Follow your heart, do what feels right. Money is meaningless without passion. You hear these types of things all your life, but you don't start realizing they're true until you've chosen the wrong path and gone a little too far down, which is exactly what I did. As I spent more time in the old city, it became clear to me that the only thing I was truly passionate about was teaching. When I was in college, I would help my friends and my sister with their schoolwork. I was always quick to lend a hand and to help those who needed some academic advice. I would proofread a paper, give feedback that would help a friend improve their work. Even when I was in the old city, I recognized my passion for learning and education. I spent my days in Israel not at the beaches or the clubs. I spent them in study and pursuit of knowledge with the wise men of the city. I recognized I like to learn and I love to teach. And then it hit me, I should be a teacher. After spending 2 months in the old city, I felt ready to come home. This was a big decision. If I was going to become a teacher, it meant a whole new field of study. It meant at least a year's worth of school and starting from the ground up all over again. Oddly enough, this didn't scare me. It felt right. I finally found something that I wanted to do. So I packed my bags, I said goodbye, and I headed home. A long plane ride. A hop, a skip, a leap later. I was back on the other side of the world, back in New York, back in America. Within a month, I was employed with the New York City Department of Education as a substitute paraprofessional. In case you don't know what that is, it's pretty much a teacher's assistant. Within a month after that, I got hired full-time doing the same thing. It was only a matter of months before I decided teaching was right for me. And I was taking classes while working full-time. You can probably guess what happened next. Well, if you guessed I became a teacher, you got it right. It's been a couple years now, and I've been teaching ever since. I work in the Bronx as a 4th grade elementary school teacher. I teach Glee Club after school, and I have a class of students with more questions than you can possibly imagine. For the first time since I started working, work doesn't feel like work. It feels like fun. Of course, you'll have a tough day here and there, but on those days, I think back to my days as a corporate paralegal and laugh. The thing you have to realize is everything is relative. Nothing's ever easy, and things can be tough, but good things are worth working for. Sometimes you have to choose between what's easy and what's hard. Sometimes you have to make the hard decision to breathe a little easier. My name is Jordan Kamer, and I am proud to be a teacher with the New York City Department of Education.